Welcome back to Scale Model Kit Review. This is your host, Steve. Up next is a new build from Eaglemoss. Eaglemoss has teamed up with SMKR to bring you the latest builds that are out there in the US market. Now, up next is the Nissan GTR R35. This is a 2011 version of that car, and it's made famous by the movie The Fast and the Furious, which featured a 2007 version of that car. But anyways, I have issue 1, and we will look at this more closely, explain how the subscription works, and how to utilize this magazine to build your perfect replica of this 1/8 scale diecast. In the first issue, they give you a pamphlet which highlights the size of this car. When I open this up, you'll see it's huge. Measures 22.5 inches long, a little bit larger than that, and will weigh about 22 pounds when it's finished. It will have lights that light up. Of course, the hood and the trunk and the doors will all open and close on this, and we get a beautiful rendition of the 3.8 liter V6 twin turbocharged engine that's under the bonnet. Now, this car is fantastic. The real car itself goes from 0 to 60 in less than 3 seconds, which gives the McLaren hybrid a run for its money. But anyways, with the first shipment, you'll receive, like I said, this very nice pamphlet on the car and all the features and specifications for this model kit, the magazine, and 2 parts packs, which I will show you here shortly. With the second shipment, you'll receive a toolkit, and it's a very nice toolkit. They give you all the tools that are required to build this model. With the third shipment, you'll get a binder to put all your magazines into. These are 38 pages, gives lots of information, and I'll explain the magazine a little bit later and show you more on that. With the fourth shipment, you'll receive a spec stand. Now this is pretty cool because it gives all the specifications of the real car that you can display along with this model kit. With the 8th shipment, you'll get the display base, and that's fantastic. That's all part of the subscription. With this subscription, there will be 100 issues plus 30 bonus issues. So that's pretty exciting, and I look forward to showing you step-by-step assembly of this kit and how to navigate through the assembly of it. So I'm super excited. Join me for this build if you would, and I think you'll enjoy it. Please head over to eaglemoss.com, and where you can go ahead and subscribe to this yourself here in the USA. Anyway, let's get started with this. Happy modeling, everybody. Welcome back. Here is the magazine for issue 1. And you can see they give us a very nice color photograph of the GTR R35. And let me go through this magazine with you to explain to you how to use it and how it's broken down. As we open it up, first thing we do is we come to the table of contents. Now this is going to hold true throughout the entire series. They're going to take us through some articles on, number 1, the GTR story. And this time they talk about the surprise announcement by Nissan. And then they're going to take us through the mechanics and factory, the premium midship package, and then racing legends. So that's going to be pretty cool too, because they're going to give us everything about the car and what it's done in the racing circuit. And then how to build lastly on the bottom here. Then they give us a little preview on this magazine, where it's coming from, and how you can subscribe to it. So don't forget to head over to Eaglemoss and subscribe to this for yourself. It's going to be a huge kit. Really cool too. So pack 1 and pack 2, we'll look at those here in a little bit. They're a big presentation, and we'll look at those a little closer. And that's what I'll do too. As we go through this build, I will give you a detailed view of the parts that are included with each pack. Here's our introduction to the series, where they talk about how it came about and so forth. Next we get into more details about your 1/8 scale replica, talking about how we have working doors, working headlights, detailed engine moving parts, working brake lights, and a detailed interior. Up close and personal on what we get with this. Then we get into the step-by-step instructions, and they talk a little bit about the magazine, what's going on with the magazine. So like I said, this is still an introduction into this particular build, so which makes it nice. Then we get into the article here of the GTR story, which we said was going to be about the surprise announcement by Nissan for this car. Now this car will represent the 2011 GTR. Moving on with the story, very colorful, easy to read. Get into about the 2001 concept of this car. And what the future brings for the GTR. And then they get into the mechanics and the factory. So here's where we get to the technical aspect of this car, which makes it nice and shows you why it's such a beast and so fast that it is. Some very nice illustrations and pictures here. Then we get into the racing legends, which gets into about December 2007 with the remarkable test car at the Nismo Festival at the Fuji Raceway in Japan. And then how to build. So they give us step-by-step instructions on how to build this kit, what screws to use. They give us a listing of all the parts that are included with the build, and like I said, how to assemble it, which we will do during this build. Total of 5 steps total, a lot of screws to be installed here. Then we get into the next part of the build, which is the wheels and tires, and that has 2 steps to it to show us what's going on. Of course, this vehicle has 4 wheels, so we'll be doing that 4 times. And they talk a little about the tire and the technology there. And then lastly, the back page gives us a preview of what we're going to receive with issue 2. So I'm looking forward to that. So with that, I hope the explanation of the magazine was good for you. And I'll come back and we'll get a closer look at the parts. Here's a closer look of Parts Pack 1, which is a blister pack for all our first step assembly here. And you can see it gives us the front fascia and grille. And we'll be looking at that a little closer when I open it up. Here's a close-up of Parts Pack 2 that's included with issue 1. And here we get the wheel, tire, and some mounting hardware along with the hubcap. I'll be right back. We'll open these up and get a closer look at all the parts. Here are the parts that are included with Parts Pack 1, which is the front fascia assembly. It includes distinctive front grille and chin spoiler. So we received the grille support, the inner fascia, the front fascia, upper grille, lower grille, GTR emblem, and AM screws, BM screws, and BP screws. AM and BM meaning they are used on metal parts, and the BP, because it has a P, are used on plastic parts. Get a closer look. You can see very nice paint job on this. It's all metal, made out of zinc. Very nice. Huge. The plastic part made out of ABS, so if I have to glue anything, I'll be using ABS glue for that. The inner fascia, once again made out of zinc or metal. Very nice paint on that. The grills themselves, very thin metal, like a photo-etch. There's that. And the GTR emblem itself. See if I can get a closer look at that while we look at this. Look at the size of this nose as compared to a 1/64 scale die cast of the GTR, or even a 1/24 scale version of the GTR. It's huge. I'll be right back. We'll look at Parts Pack 2. Here's a close-up of Parts Pack 2, and we get the wheel and tire and hubcap. Let's look at the tire first. This represents a Dunlop tire. Very nice. If you look at the tread pattern here. Next we get the wheel itself, and it's all made out of metal. Very substantial, very heavy. Very nice finish on it. And we get the hubcap, the Nissan hubcap. I'll give you a closer look of that. Very nice, detailed, with chrome accents. And then we get some CM screws. Let's get started on building the first part. I'll be right back. So the first step, we will assemble the grille support and inner fascia, and we'll be using 4 of the AM screws. Now let's assemble this. To assemble it, I'll be using this Wera PHO screwdriver until we receive our toolkit with issue 2. What we need to do is turn the fascia over, and likewise we'll turn this over, and it simply just inserts into the top here just like that. If you look at the other side of it, you can see we have chrome accent coming through the front of the fascia. So it looks very nice. I'm going to squeeze it in place, and then all we have to do is put our 4 screws in to hold it in place. Helpful if you have a magnetized screwdriver, which that's what this is. And it just goes right in. And there you go. Looks very nice. Step 2, we'll join the inner fascia to the front fascia. Now they did tell us with what we just assembled, when you put these screws in, be very cautious that you don't over tighten them, as you could strip them out. So just be careful when doing that. Alright, so let's assemble that. I'm still floored by the detail and the finish that this has. I'll turn it over because we're going to have to install the inner fascia into the outer fascia. The detail here on the inner fascia is pretty cool because there's some grille work here for one of the vents. That's really nice. A nice detail that you totally don't see. So in this case we're going to use 2 more AM screws. We're simply just going to insert this in just like that, and we'll be putting in the 2 AM screws on each side, and that will help lock this fascia in place on the front. It will easily be done like this. Just going to get them started first. Then I can tighten them down afterwards. And there you go. Next we'll install the emblem on the upper grille. Alright, I'm back. Let's go ahead and install the emblem onto the upper grille. Now you want to make sure you have one hole, alignment hole, on top like that, and then the one down below on the lower right there. Emblem should just fit right in. There's an alignment pin for that. And just like such, turn it over, and we simply will put one screw in, which happens to be a BP screw. Emblem is plastic, so be careful when tightening this that you don't over tighten it. And there it is. Just kind of straighten it out a little bit, and there we go. Step 4, we install the upper grille into the front fascia assembly. Now we're going to be using 2 types of screws for this. We're going to be using the BM screw and the BP screws. BM screws are made from metal, the BP are made for plastic. We will be installing the plastic ones, the BP, on the bottom of the grille. That must be the plastic fascia that we just screwed in place, and then the top BM screws, which are made from metal, will go in on the top, which that's the top part of the metal fascia. So let's do that. I'll be right back. Alright, so they want us to insert the grille into the upper part here. We need to turn over the fascia here. They want us to put in the plastic screws first, which that would be these bottom ones here, and then we'll put in the metal ones second. So the BM or the BP are the ones that go on the bottom because they're plastic, and you can see there's a slight curve to this. As I press that down, you can kind of see that. See that? Okay. So, let's go after this. Put the plastic ones in first. Screws designed for the plastic, that is. And I'm going to hold this in place. Hopefully give you a close-up view with my side camera. And goes right in. Very simple. Don't over tighten these. Could strip them. And just get this grill lined up a little bit better. Looks good there. And one more. Those went in really easy. There you go. Now let's put in the top screws. Those are the BM screws. Got one in. And those are going in very easy also. One more to go. And there you have it. Very sharp looking. And the last step for parts pack 1, we will install the lower grill, and this time all BM screws will be used. We'll be using a total of 7 of them. I'll be right back. And here we go. We are on the last step, which is step 5. We're going to put the lower grill in. We'll need to turn this over, and we'll line up the lower grill. Just as such. And 7 BM screws are required for this. Super excited to do this, and I'm glad you're joining me. Like I said, this is available in the US market, so don't pass up your chance to get this wonderful model. 100 issues plus 30 bonus issues for subscribers, and all the free stuff that you get. This is going to be huge, man. It's 20 22 pounds sitting on the shelf. Very impressive kit. If you like what you see and you're new to my channel, please subscribe, hit the like, and go ahead and click on the bell for any notifications on new uploads. These BM screws are going in very nicely. It's been very enjoyable putting this together. And one last screw, and after this last screw, that will complete this part of the build. We still have parts pack 2 we need to do. Just make sure everything is tight. Becoming ambidextrous. I'm left-handed. I injured my left shoulder, so I find myself using my right hand a lot to work it. My left shoulder still isn't back up to 100%. But here we go. That is very nice. Zoom out a bit here. And we have our grills inserted. Very impressive. I'll be right back and we'll assemble parts pack 2. Alright, to assemble parts pack 2, they recommend with the first step to take some warm water and soak the tire in it so it's easily installed onto the rim. In step 2 they show us installing that on the rim with the tire preheated in the warm water. So let's go ahead and look at doing that, and that will pretty much complete this build. Alright, so I've got me some hot tap water out of the faucet. I'm going to go ahead and put the tire in it, let it soak for a little bit. They say to let it soak for about 5 minutes. I'll be right back. Really got to get this squeezed in there hard. This is not for the lighthearted. Really got to be squeezed in there hard. And almost there. Soak it some more. A little more soaking. It's almost on. It's a two-hand job basically to get that tire on the rim. You can imagine a tire shop has just as much fun with these low profile tires, mounting them on the rim, and there we go. It is on. And I made sure that the rough side is on the outside. So it took a little more than 5 minutes to soak the tire, but you definitely want to try to do it while it's still hot. So you want to use fairly hot water for this, not boiling water, but very hot tap water for this, and it worked great. So that's all we do with this issue and with this parts pack for the tire. And there you have it. That's all we do with issue 1 for the GTR build. We completed the front fascia assembly. I must say it turned out very nice, and we assembled a wheel and tire, which was a little bit of a difficult for me, but I got it done, and we're going to hold on to the cap, put that away safely, and the extra hardware and screws that we got with this. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe to the Eaglemoss GTR. It's available in the US, and you won't regret it. It is an awesome kit. So with that, stay tuned for issue 2, which will be coming up very shortly. And I want to thank everybody for following me on my channel and watching my videos. With that, happy modeling everybody, and enjoy your future build if you decide to get this. Take care.